I'm Jenna Marlowe, 32, and this is the story of how one holiday toast turned me from the family's quiet underachiever into the woman who quietly reclaimed everything they'd taken for granted. I grew up believing love was a silent subsidy. Pay the freight, swallow the slights, stay in the fold. My father Harold kept the accounts. Claire, the baby, got the dividends. Travis, the prodigal middle child, got the bailouts. I got the balance due, and they are so dependable that really meant we know you'll cover it. I never chased the spotlight. I built a thriving boutique travel curation business from my spare bedroom, custom itineraries for high-net-worth clients who wanted off-grid luxury without the influencer crowds. I funded Claire's multiple passion projects, Travis's string of failed bars, Mom and Dad's retirement surprises when the market dipped. I never asked for recognition. I just wanted to belong. Christmas dinner was at their restored Victorian, the one I'd quietly paid to restore after the pipe burst. I arrived with a bottle of rare Sauternes and a hand-bound travel journal I'd designed for Mom. The table shimmered with heirloom silver and practice cheer. Talk flowed about Claire's new lifestyle brand, Travis's Almost There brewery, Mom's upcoming Antarctica cruise. No one asked about my feature in Condé Nast Traveler or the waiting list that now stretched into next year. Then Dad set down his glass and delivered the line like he'd saved it for the grand finale. Jenna, we love you, but you're 32. It's time you accepted you'll never rise above mediocrity. Drifting along, no real ambition, no legacy. We can't keep pretending that's enough. The dining room went tomb silent. Claire sipped her wine. Travis studied his plate. Mom buttered another roll like it was urgent. I felt the laugh rise first, short, sharp, because the irony was exquisite. They thought I was drifting. They had no clue I was the current keeping them afloat. I folded my napkin, set it beside my plate, and stood. Thank you for the diagnosis. Mom frowned. Sit down, honey, coffee's coming. I'm good, I said, voice steady, almost gentle. I walked out without raising it. The front door closed with a soft click that sounded like the end of an era. That night in my City View apartment, I opened the folder labeled Family Ledger. $620,000 in transfers over 15 years. The Victorian's restoration loan in my name. The coastal cabin titled solely to me, a bonus from a silent partnership they assumed was shared. The grandkids' education funds, controlled exclusively by me. I didn't rage delete. I methodically revoked access, canceled recurring payments, and triggered the reversion clause on the cabin. Every confirmation email felt like a breath I'd been holding since I was 16. The panic started 72 hours later. Claire called first, frantic. The twins' private school deposit bounced. What did you do? Travis next. Mom says the cabin's off limits for summer. Jenna, this isn't funny. Mom left a voicemail that swung from wounded to furious. We're your blood. You can't freeze us out for one comment. I invited them to the cabin to talk. They arrived in one SUV, looking like they'd aged a decade overnight. Mom carried her famous gingerbread like a white flag. Dad clutched printouts of old understandings. Claire and Travis trailed, eyes red. I waited on the deck in jeans and boots, coffee in hand, keys to the gate dangling. Inside, I laid the evidence across the reclaimed cedar table like cards. Transfers, mortgages, cabin deed now irrevocably mine, education fund statements listing me as sole trustee. Mom went ash gray. Dad whispered, "You paid for all this?" Claire actually gasped. Travis swore under his breath. I let the silence do its work. You called me mediocre, I said quietly. So I stopped subsidizing you. The cabin is mine. The funds are mine. The restoration loan releases next week, meaning the bank will demand full payment in 45 days unless you refinance a loan. Claire tried outrage. This is blackmail. No, I answered. It's boundaries. You wanted me to accept mediocrity. Congratulations. Mom reached for my hand, tears spilling. We didn't realize. You did, I said, gentle but absolute. You just assumed I'd never stop. Dad's voice cracked. What do we do now? I looked at the people who'd spent my life, making me feel like the spare part in their perfect picture. You figured out, I said. The way I always have. I handed Mom her empty gingerbread plate and walked them to their car. No one hugged goodbye. 7 months later, the Victorians sold at a loss. They downsized to a condo. Claire took a corporate job she used to call soul-crushing. Travis started driving delivery nights. Mom joined a seniors budget travel club. They send generic birthday texts now, no money, no guilt. I turned the cabin into a writer's retreat for women reclaiming their stories. Every weekend it's full of voices finally allowed to be loud. I still love them, from a distance that finally lets me hear my own. Some call me heartless. I call it whole. Because the day they sentenced me to mediocrity, I finally learned to stop funding their superiority. And the sound of waves these days? Worth every anchor, I finally cut loose.